Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. We are the Odds Couple. We come to you from SportsbookReview.com. This is the college basketball Odds Couple show for Tuesday, February 21st, and we're going to start now having Ross Benjamin from RBWins.com on with us every Tuesday, I think. I'm not sure if it's going to be other days, but at least Tuesdays, and I guess his assignment is going to be find some underdogs with value, right, Mike Brenner?
Well, that's what he does best. Pete, doesn't matter the sport, baseball or whatever. I've done shows last year with Ross with underdogs, and no matter the small slate he's given to choose from, it's very sharp. So for our viewers, take advantage of this sharp tool because it is absolutely productive. And with that being said, I'm glad to be working with Ross again.
All right, the first, let's get into the slate. The first game that jumps out at me, which I was liking, and maybe Ross will be liking, and maybe you will be too, Mike Brenner, since you have an opinion on most games involving South Carolina. They're at Florida, getting a lot of points here, 9.5. Florida has a bunch of injuries. Egbunu went out a while ago, and now they got another injury. And South Carolina getting 9.5. Is that maybe
9.5? I saw 10. Is it not a 10 anymore?
It was 10. Now it's down to 9.5.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the 9.5.
Actually, no. The Chris books have 10. Yes.
Yeah, there was hanging at 10, not
just
even
one,
30
just
seconds.
One, yes.
Yeah, I'm all over that. I like it. I think that there's no doubt in my mind this team will be ready to go. Frank Martin is that coach, and I think Florida's a little overvalued here, not only with the injuries. I just think this team will bring it on the road. This is going to be a tight game. I think that's just way too many points.
All right.
And it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day if they got the outright win.
Yeah, all right. I'll be on that one too. Plus 10, minus 115 at the Chris books. And I'm also thinking, in a what the hell kind of way, what about the first half? Why not?
I saw it 5.5
yeah.
they were getting, but for me, I think I don't know. I think Florida might empty it out early if they know they're playing with some reserves. They got some injuries. These guys are going to want to come out hungry. And South Carolina typically not a fast starting team, so I'm off that first half. I wouldn't talk you off the ledge, but for me now,
that is a good point. You're probably right, but I'm going to take it anyway. I need some units, so I'll take
right.
South Carolina.
What the hell? Pull that trigger, pistol.
108. All right, let's see. What else do we have then? Okay, here's another underdog that I would be surprised if Ross Benjamin's on this one, and I'm almost guaranteeing that you're not on it, and that's Penn State at home against Purdue. Purdue is a dangerous team. I don't want to bet against them.
Yeah.
8 is maybe a lot, maybe too many points, but I don't know. Purdue is a scary team right now, right, Mike Brenner?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt, and I've cashed a lot of tickets with them, had a pretty good feel for them, but I think 8 at Penn State just might be, if I had to lean, I would say Purdue, but for me, I'm off of that one. I do have it involved in a 3-team teaser, but we'll get involved with that later.
All right, yeah. On the other hand, Purdue is also 2-4-1 ATS on the road.
On the road.
Although recently they've been better.
Well, they know it's
ATS
crunch time, Pistol. It's crunch time. That's why it wouldn't surprise me if they blow this team out by 10 or more.
Then we also got Oklahoma at Baylor, and Baylor, of course, coming off a loss, and Oklahoma coming off of that big game against Oklahoma State. And they lost their leading scorer. So the question is... Oklahoma, yeah. So the question is, they lost them on February 11th. The question is Baylor... Normally you don't like them, or normally I tend to not like them as a big favorite.
You thought they might be overvalued as a big favorite?
Yeah,
me too.
In this spot, 12 or 12.5.
And coming off a loss. I'm thinking first half on that. I'm still bouncing back and forth. What is the best shop line on that first half, Pistol?
Well, it would be 6.5 or 7.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to take the 6.5, and here's my reasoning. All right, Oklahoma, and not only it was February 11 when they lost their score. All right, I think that game against Oklahoma State took a hell of a lot out of them. I think it drained them. It was an emotional game. It was an in-state rival, and then on the other side of the coin, you got Baylor feeling like they're underperforming right now, and might be right. They're at home. I think the advantage is there. Give me the 6.5.
Sure. Okay. Yes. All right. Minus 6.5.
What do you think about that?
Minus 113. No, that's how I was leaning.
Yeah. Well, lean right on into the damn car. Take it to the bank, Pistol.
Taking Baylor as a favorite is such a
well, not for the full game. I don't know. I'll just shut up and leave it alone. But I'm on that because Oklahoma, I think, is drained. I think they got drained.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to hold off for now.
Okay, I don't want to hear it tomorrow. Do not want to hear it tomorrow.
Sure. And here's one pick I'm definitely going to give. It is not even close to being an underdog. It is going to be Wichita State minus 19.5.
You like that?
Well, I cashed them before.
Yeah, you did.
As a huge road favorite. Cashed pretty comfortably, and I just think they're a little bit of they're in juggernaut mode right now, and I'm not going to take them in the first half, but I will take them full game minus 19.
And I've got to interrupt you because the other day, actually it was like 2 weeks ago, we were breaking down some games, and you said they're not the same Wichita State as they were, but I think they're going to pick up steam. And you know what? You were exactly right, and I am correct. You did cash. It was last week sometime on them.
Yeah.
That might not be a bad pick, Pete.
Yeah, now I feel like they are
they are like a juggernaut.
They used to be.
Okay.
And then the other big game is Kentucky as a massive favorite. Well, not massive, but pretty huge favorite against plus Missouri minus 16. You have anything about that one, Mike Brenner?
I'm going to involve them in a 3-team teaser, Pete, but that's about it. Yeah, for that, I've got one other play. I'll wait for you to get to it.
All right, so let's get to Ross Benjamin, and then we'll get to our other plays. Ross Benjamin, you've heard what we've said so far. Anything you want to agree with, disagree with? What do you say? What do you have to say for us?
I'd be a little leery of taking Purdue on the road. Look, unequivocally, they're a better team by far, guys. I think we could all agree on that. But another one of these cases, what we discussed last week, reverse line movement. The game opened as minus 9.5, Purdue road favorite. It's down to 8 in some sports books already, with the majority of money coming in on Purdue thus far. So when I see a situation like that, a reverse line movement, and clearly one team is better than the other, I'm just going to leave the game alone. So I do agree with South Carolina, guys. Here's the thing. If this game was played 2 weeks ago, South Carolina would be maybe a 4 or 4.5 point underdog instead of a 9.5 or 10, what they are now. The Gamecocks have gone 2-3 straight up and 0-5 ATS in the last 5. Look, they're in a little bit of a funk, and this is why we're seeing that large number. Florida 6-1 in conference home games, but only 3-4 against the spread. South Carolina did defeat Florida at home earlier this season by 4, and they held the Gamecocks to 29% shooting. I like the Gamecocks as well here, guys.
All right, so you put is that an official pick for you?
That is an official
All right,
pick,
plus 10 minus 150.
I'm driving to the bank with you on that one, Ross. I love it. And you getting them 10 or the 9.5? It was 10, right?
Yeah, but we're going to give Ross 9.5. No, of course Ross gets 10. Ross, what else do you have? What other underdogs do you have for us?
And let me just put this in. If it's 9.5, buy it to 10, guys. The juice only counts.
There you go.
Right? All right, Clemson at Virginia Tech. Look at this line, guys. Look at what we discussed last week when things look too obvious.
Yes.
Why is this line only 2.5?
Yes.
Clemson, 3-10 in their last 13, 4-9 against the spread in that stretch, 1-6 in conference away games. Virginia Tech, on the other hand, 5-1 in conference home games. Virginia Tech wins at Clemson earlier this season by 1. Look, if it smells like a trap and looks like a trap, it's a trap. Give me Clemson plus 2.5 on the road at Virginia Tech.
Well, I can tell you one of the reasons that the line is a little bit low is because Chris Clark, who's their leading rebounder, leading steals guy,
For Clemson, he's out, isn't he?
No, for Virginia Tech.
For Virginia,
leading many categories, is out. This is his second straight game where he's out, and so obviously the line's going to adjust for that. So in that sense, the line makes sense, right?
I get. It's all factored in. I don't think him individually accounts for maybe a point. Okay, it's not like he's a dominant player. He's a good rebounder. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But let's go back again. I mean, 64% of the early money individual bets on Virginia Tech, open 2.5, still 2.5. Obviously, the sharp money, including mine, isn't deterred by that injury. Or this line. So
I couldn't talk them off that. I personally think Virginia Tech is a totally overvalued, overrated team. I mean, they beat Virginia. Who's Virginia? They're nobody. They proved it last night against Miami. This Virginia Tech team might just lose outright to Clemson. And I'm telling you, moving forward, that team's not going to be a threat for anybody. Virginia Tech is not a basketball team. Never will be, baby.
All right. Is that the only other underdog you have for us?
I got one more here, guys.
Okay.
George Mason at Dayton. Dayton's minus 12. Undervalued George Mason team, guys. Look at their log. 7-1 straight up in ATS as a road underdog this year. Not 7-1 ATS, also 7-1 straight up. 2 wins as a double-digit underdog. 4-1 straight up and 5-0 ATS in their last 5 overall. During that stretch, 49.8% shooting, and they had a plus 14 rebound per game differential during those 5 contests. That's enormous. Now, look, I'm not going to poke any holes at Dayton. This isn't about lambasting Dayton. Look, 21-5 overall, 13-1 at home, 12-2 in conference play. This is all about me considering George Mason being very undervalued in this spot. I'm going to take the Patriots plus 12 at Dayton.
All right, they are 7-2 against the spread on the road, George Mason. So
I like that
Dayton's
breakdown. Numbers don't lie. Yeah.
One of those losses was as a road favorite. They
Yeah.
lost by 2
Yeah.
at St. Louis. Well, let's look at the dog situation again. 7-1 straight up in ATS as a dog. When they're undervalued, they've really responded in this spot.
And again, that's not taking anything away from Dayton. That's just giving props to where it's deserved with George Mason, and that's a big number. I like the breakdowns, Ross. I love your work that you do on these underdogs, buddy.
All right, Mike Brenner, do you have any other picks for us?
Yes, I do. I'm going to hit you with it.
hear
I like Oakland on the first half against Youngstown State.
Okay.
And if you can give me the best shop line, I think
Oakland on the first half. You said.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me see.
I think they're going to open it up early and often.
-7, -108. I was leaning Youngstown State on the full game on that one, but -7. And by the way, Ross, when you're listening to what we're saying, after we give our final picks here, if you wouldn't mind just commenting if you have any comments in agreement or disagreement with anything we say, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm not
thanks,
a first
Ross.
half better, guys, as you guys both know. So my comments will be limited in that regard.
All right, okay. -7, -108.
Yep, that's official. And then my last pick, Pete, because that gives me Baylor on the first half, Oakland on the first half, and I'm jumping in with Ross to the bank, South Carolina, the full game +10. But I have a 3-team teaser. I'm going to put this together. Give me the numbers. I want to shoot first team Kentucky.
Okay, that'll be let's see, that'll be 10.
Yep, because I think that'll be no problem against Missouri. Also, South Carolina, knock that one.
Okay, yep, that'll be 15.5.
God, that's beautiful.
Yep.
And to wrap it up, Purdue. This is a 6.3
okay, that'll be
team
-2.
teaser. -2. I love it. I think that's a casher tonight. Feeling good about the direction with the teasers. And last night had a big win with Iowa State. Lost the teaser, but Iowa State certainly got it done last night with the points. And
yes,
I'm
very
feeling
nice.
good about it. How about you? What do you got for us?
I got about 8 or 10 picks that I'm thinking I'm liking
pull that
here.
damn trigger. Get going.
The first one, I think I'm going to take Monmouth on the first half against Fairfield. Fairfield, that'll be -3, -110.
Monmouth's at home, right?
No, Monmouth is on the road. That's why
On
the
the road.
line.
Okay.
Ross, you were going to say something? Be careful.
I thought they were at home, but
Yeah, I did
you're,
too.
You're right.
No,
They're only -6, so I would assume they're on the road.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's at Fair. Monmouth crushed Fairfield the last time they met this year. Monmouth has some extra rest here, and so I think that the first half is a good play
this
with
is a
them.
Monmouth team, Pete. I think, and we discussed this before on our NCAA tournament sleepers. I really like this Monmouth team.
Yeah.
They beat some monster teams last year, UCLA and a couple other big schools. Got off to a slow start this year, but they're rolling right now.
Yeah, they're
for
picking
sure.
up steam.
For
Yeah.
sure. All right, now let's see. What are the other ones? I was also thinking about Northern Kentucky -3 against Wright State, and I will take that one.
Okay, pull
And
that
I'll
trigger.
also throw them on the first half, trying to build up some units here. Could get burned, but I'll try to build some more units there. And let's see. Then another line that Ross was talking about, a line that doesn't quite make sense, is Eastern Michigan at Ball State. Did you know? I don't know if you noticed that one, Ross Benjamin, but that's another line that doesn't quite
Is that
make
like
sense.
got trap written all over it?
Yeah, it might be
Yeah.
Eastern Michigan might be the play there because that line doesn't quite make sense, and it's moving in the opposite direction of where you might think it would go, right, Ross?
Yeah, Eastern Michigan got off to a great start in conference play, and they've faded since that time.
Yeah.
And Ball State seemed like they're coming on like gangbusters
Right.
over the last few weeks. So, no, you're exactly right, Pete.
Yeah.
That falls into that category. It looks too obvious. It looks too good to be true. It normally is.
Eastern Michigan has been awful ATS, and they opened as just a 3.5-point road dog at Ball State, and it's now down to 2.5.
Oh, see, that's
Yeah.
That
And I can
really
guarantee
stinks.
that's the reverse, too. I haven't looked at the betting
Yeah.
trends.
All right, you know what I'll do in
Come on, Pete.
honor
I
of
know you're thinking about
in
it.
honor of our analysis here. I will throw on Eastern Michigan plus 2.5 minus
Here he
110.
goes, baby. You
Just
can't
to throw
stop
that
him. You
one
can
on,
only
hopefully,
hope to contain him.
And I'll throw on the first half as well on
And
that
what
one.
the hell?
Yeah, just in case one of
How'd
them
you
cashes.
do last
one of
night,
them
by
didn't.
the way?
I don't remember. 2 losses, I
Okay.
think. 2 losses. Both of my picks last night cashed on the first half, which I didn't give, and then lost on the full game.
there
so
you go.
yeah,
All
there you
right.
go. Then another one, a line that does make sense, I think I'm going to bet into, is Buffalo. They've been an absolute ATS juggernaut, right, Mike? Right, Ross Benjamin, and they've been just covering on the road, at home, everywhere, right?
Yeah, very undervalued team in the MAC. It played some tough competition in their non-conference slate.
Yeah.
They started a bit slow in the MAC, but boy, oh boy, lately, as you alluded to, Pete, they've been money. straight up and ATS.
On the other hand, Kent State just beat Akron, and they've had some good road wins and covers in conference play. So I'm actually going to hold off on that one.
I was wondering if you had anything to say about the Akron Zips. You've had a good read on them.
Yeah, they're good, but they've definitely been way overvalued recently, losing games, losing ATS. Okay. So I'm definitely be careful about that. Right yeah. Mm-hmm. And let's see, moving on down, and I guess that'll probably be. Let me see. I'm moving on down. Dennis. Just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah. The other one that I'm thinking about. I got burned. I
feel like I'm watching the old Jeffersons.
Trust me, me too, and I love it. Moving on up, baby.
I got burned on that Richmond game. They did cover the first half against VCU, but then they lost. And again, this kind of doesn't quite make sense, but there's no injuries that I'm seeing for Richmond. Yeah. Why should they be just pick them against Davidson, Ross Benjamin? That doesn't make any sense either, right?
But Davidson's played much better of late.
Yeah.
If you look at how they've done over their last 5 games, they shot the ball much better, and they've covered and won at a pretty good rate. So Richmond, you're right. I had Richmond as well in that game. Strong first half performance, and then they just were never in it in the second half. They got off to a bad start and weren't able to recover. So Richmond's one of those weird teams, Pete. You know, they when you don't expect them to step up, they do it. And vice versa. So
now Davidson's on the road on this one, right?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to hold off on that one. Okay. That's it for me. That's it for Mike Brenner. That's it for Ross Benjamin from rbwins.com. Ross Benjamin, thanks so much for your essential input here.
Thanks, Ross. Hey, Ross, give us a well-deserved plug for your website.
That's rbwins.com, where you can get all of my picks that I personally wager on. My paying clients receive. That's rbwins.com, where you pay a little to make a lot.
I love it. Thanks, Ross. Have a great day, buddy.
You too as well.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.